You've won occupy that position.
I hear you.
And your response
Chairman,
is that
okay.
as a minister,
No
you don't do that. So why are you?
There's no banter.
That is his anger.
Mr. Chairman, thanks.
So
I don't want to
question.
banter with you.
Yeah,
just all I wanted to find out from you, still the follow-up. He says you allow me. So the follow-up is whether you would advise the Chief of Defense Staff, who normally would deploy on behalf of the Commander-in-Chief, soldiers to a polling station in the future elections.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Under normal circumstances, it's a no, 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 no. But you see, in doing risk analysis, you cannot sit here and jump to that conclusion. What if terrorists have attacked a polling station? What do you do? So it will be based on the risk assessment and the advice that will be given. And this is why the National Election Security Task Force, with the help of Parliament, must be given strong legal backing so that the rules of engagement, very, very clear, delineated, actions to be taken, and who gives the command and who should not give the command. So once we get all these ironed out, I believe that it will not even be me providing that advice, because on the day of election, I'm likely to be somewhere campaigning or ensuring that people are voting. And that is why I should not be the person who is even at that point giving a policy direction that soldiers should go to the polling station. Once we get the National Election Security Task Force clearly before us, and Parliament has a good bite at it, very deep bite at it, I believe that we will be able to address most of these challenges that we have had with the use of the military.
Mr. Chairman.
Your last question.
Yes, last question. Mr. Chairman, first of all, the nominee has assured this House that he would follow the laid down requirements of the Ghana Armed Forces when it comes to recruitment and enlistment into the armed forces so that we can keep the sanity within the armed forces. So I want to thank him for that. And I would hold him through the committee, whoever will be the chair of the committee on government assurance, we will hold you responsible for that statement, because we'll follow to ensure that it has happened. But there is a constitutional with it. There is a constitutional, if you don't follow, it's your own job, because you were supposed to keep me in check. If you didn't keep me in check, that's your own cup of tea. But Mr. Chairman,
please address the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there is a constitutional provision I want you to give meaning to and to ensure that it happens. And that constitutional provision is regional balance. I didn't say tribal balance, I said regional balance. I want to find out from you how you would ensure that in the enlistment and in the recruitment of the men and women into the armed forces, and by stretch all security agencies, there is regional balance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To be brief, I'm a student of equity, and we will ensure that all the principles of equity are applied to the procedures that the recruitment process follows. For instance, if somebody is in the Upper West region and the person is going to be enlisted or recruited, how does the person go through medicals? If somebody is in the Upper East region, same. If somebody is in Accra, obviously that person will have a certain advantage because 37 is just right here. And so we will look at all the equity principles and ensure that regional balance is attained.
Thank you very much. In the absence of any follow-up, I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Peter Lanchini. Honourable members, let me place on record that he is the fourth person to ask the question, and I've admitted questions from them in line with Standing Order 2172, which allows chairperson, ranking members, and 2 other members of the relevant subject matter, standing or select committee, persons nominated by persons to join the appointment committee in vetting persons nominated by the president. So they are the subject matter committee members. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Minister designate, congratulations. You know as well as I do that when you are dealing with military, you are dealing with precision. And I do not doubt your meticulous nature and the fact that you must be trusted by the state. So once again, I say congratulations for this nomination. The Ghana Armed Forces has a very impressive image across the world. If this committee gives you the nod and you are finally sworn in as a Minister of Defense, you will love to protect this impressive image. How are you going to deal with impersonations in the system?
Thank you very much. We will rely heavily on DI, Defense Intelligence, to assist us. Of course, collaboration between the police and DI will also be very, very important. And then, as part of efforts to improve military-civil relations, we will enhance the receipt of feedback from the populace, such that if someone is suspicious of an individual who is portraying him or herself as a soldier, in real time, the person can launch a complaint and we address it. And when these are addressed, the aftermath of it, the punishment given legitimately and legally given, will also be made public to deter others who may want to go on the same path. And we believe that once DI heightens attention on impersonation, and the police also assist in this, and then we make the processes very transparent and the punishment thereof also obvious to citizens, people are going to be advised. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my second question. I'm sure during the briefing you have heard of defense advisors. Our defense advisors carry very high our national flag, including the flag of the Ghana Armed Forces. And over the years that I've been in Parliament, at least for the past 4 years, the story has not been encouraging at all. There are conditions of service. It's nothing to write home about. And I'm sure they are very excited to find Dr. Omane Boama as the minister designate. Should you get a nod? Look into the camera and tell them, what will you do for defense advisors who are struggling all over the world? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, the defense advisors play critical roles in the countries where we deploy them. And they work very closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And so it will be a collaborative effort, of course, with the Ministry of Finance also ensuring that they are assisted as much as they should. Their challenges range from accommodation all the way sometimes even to the daily subsistence allowance that they would have to be given. When you demotivate them, and some of them are even generals, when you demotivate them like this, you do not expect morale to be high for them to do the kind of defense diplomacy that they should be doing. Not too long ago, I was talking about the right equipment to assist our peace support operations. Defense advisors, defense attachés in very critical countries can even work to let us have access to aid that we may never have thought of. So we need to invest in them for them to give us the multiplier effects of those investments. Ghana will benefit from those strategic investments. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my last question. You know, by my very training, when you meet a very confident person...
Honorable Anthony, hold it. The Deputy Minority Leader has a follow-up on the second question.
Right, thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. Congratulations. From the answer to the last question, I get the import that you don't have a direct responsibility to ensure that they are rightly remunerated. If that be the case, I don't think you are owning up to your responsibility to ensure that. What would you do? Because you mentioned the Minister of Finance as the one that has to see to it, but you have a responsibility to address them. What would you do personally to ensure that?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Coincidentally, just when Honorable was asking, then the Foreign Minister designate entered. It's a collaborative effort. And my style has always been to work together with colleagues. I've been part of budget processes right from 2009 to 2016. We contributed to every single budget of the President Mills and President Mahama administration. And we know how these go. You will submit the budget. The Ministry of Finance will have the final say. But the good thing is, with the experience that we gathered for 8 years, we will definitely be some of the people that the Finance Ministry will rely on. And we will persuade to the point that we believe that once they understand the benefits that we will be deriving from the defense attaches, they will respond. And it is part of the innovative financing of the armed forces that we have started discussing. And so you can be rest assured, I will be responsible for the soldiers, and I will work collaboratively with the Minister for Finance, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, when he's vetted, I hope not for 3 days, and approved, and then the Minister for Interior and all other colleagues as well. Thank you.
The nominee should withdraw that he hope he's not going to be vetted for 3 days. It's
Withdrawn.
not left to him to decide to the committee.
Chairman, withdrawn.
Thank you very much. Can we make progress? Now, your last question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Minister Designate, if you appear before this committee and you are giving 100 questions that have to do with Galamsey, you will appreciate the fact that Galamsey is a hydra-headed problem for this country. It is not just a security threat, it is both economic and social. Looking at the role of the Ghana Armed Forces from the days of Operation Vanguard to Operation Halt 1 and Halt 2, what do you think the role of the military will be going forward to ensure that after 1 year of President Mahama's term in office, even the rivers will begin to speak that the country has been reset? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to rest on the earlier answers that I had given about Galamsey so that I don't over-elaborate. The justification cannot be understood by anyone considering the harm that it causes. And Honorable listed quite a good number of the untoward issues that emanate from it. What sometimes we don't even avert our minds to is that for people to elect to engage in that activity, sometimes they have to take hard substances and all. So that can also have its own societal effects. That is why the idea of simultaneously providing alternate livelihoods, reclaiming lands, planting on those lands when they have been reclaimed, and there are soil scientists and technologies that can help heal some of these destroyed soils. Even placing factories in some strategic locations to process some of the produce will begin to give a new face to the fight against galamsey. As we do this, obviously, law enforcement agencies will work together, the police, the military, to ensure that the laws are enforced. And that is why I said we need to also look at not just physical incursion of military personnel, but also using unmanned aerial vehicles, and some of them can even be weaponized to take care of this, because human beings, sometimes if they stay on these operations for a long time, get compromised. But if you dispatch a UAV, a drone, to go on surveillance and send you the exact picture of what is happening, who is going to bribe the drone? Unless maybe the one who is operating it. And the digital footprints of that drone and the operations can also be known. Should it get to the point where weapons would have to be used, as I have said, some of these UAVs can even be weaponized, but that should be the last resort. We need to quickly and aggressively get to the point where we get the people to understand that it's a no, no, no. The environmental and the socio-economic consequences are just too much. And I believe that with the self-purifying nature of water bodies, when we are able to do this with your blessings, within a matter of 1 year, we should begin to see positive outcomes from these interventions. It will be a collaborative effort. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm so grateful. Thank you very much, nominee. I wish you well.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Using the same standing order 2177, combining it with order 6, I will recognize leadership of the minority to ask a question. 77 reads, a member of the leadership of the House is entitled to participate in the proceedings of the committee during the consideration of nominees for appointment. And standing order 6 defines leadership of the House to mean the majority leader, minority leader, the deputy majority leader and deputy minority leader, the majority whip, the minority whip, and the deputy majority whip and deputy minority whip. So I proceed to recognize Habib, Honorable Habib, as deputy minority whip. Whips, deputy whips, but majority whip and minority whip. But deputy is whips.
Road Minister, I won't be invited to the debate. Mr. Norman, my question is, in your party manifesto, you promised to increase the daily allowances of soldiers to the UN. I think currently it's around $35. So what should the soldiers in Lebanon and Sudan expect?
Mr. Chairman, we have soldiers in several places. Guinea-Bissau, Abyei, Gambia, and all. They should be rest assured that President Mahama has 4 years, and whatever promise that has been given will be worked on to the satisfaction of all stakeholders. Thank you.
Honorable Habib, do you have a further question?
Okay, Chairman, the nominee's introduction, when you asked of his self-introduction, he said he is the Director of Elections and IT of the NDC. My question is on the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission that declared President Mahama and declared the 275 members of Parliament. Have you 275? One is not declared yet. 275. Mr. Chairman, my question is, have you ever described the EC as criminals, incompetent, and biased? And if yes, why?
Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Incompetence, basic arithmetic. The EC serially got it wrong. The criminality, people were transferred from their polling stations to different regions, not even within the same region, without they appearing to transfer. Bias. There were several times that we raised issues that we felt could have easily been addressed. And sometimes, as I watched after December 7, people struggling over seats, I said, look, if the Electoral Commission had listened to us and had dealt with the free pink sheets that were floating, we may not have had these issues on our hands. But obviously, the EC would not even listen to us. As we speak, we requested for a forensic audit of the voters' register and the IT system of the Electoral Commission. They never agreed. So in competence, basic arithmetic, they were getting it wrong. The criminal aspect. To transfer people from their polling stations to different places in a different region. And when we brought this out and we asked them, they said, oh, we had not activated the liveliness test. So you knew you could activate the liveliness test. And they said, oh, it was because at the time that the procurement was done, the liveliness test was not that mature. We identified and put out the information. What stopped them from doing that? And so, trust me, I have very good friends in there, but whenever we had to do our job to ensure that the right expressions were used, we did it. But the beauty is that it was never personal. Beyond doing our jobs, we continued very good, friendly relations. In fact, sometimes it pains me that when our General Secretary petitioned Parliament earlier, I think somewhere April 2024, Parliament did not take the necessary steps to investigate the Electoral Commission. If that had been done, we all may not have gotten to that point. But it looks like the malaise is when you are in government, you act as if the Electoral Commission is anachronistic and sacrosanct. I pray and hope that my party in government will not suffer that same disease. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you. Any further question?
Chairman, I have a follow-up to this. Doctor, how will you describe a beneficiary of a criminal, incompetent, and a biased institution?
Your question is unclear because I decided to provide reasons for each of them. Incompetence.
Explain it to
Thank
me.
you, Chairman. I decided to segregate incompetence. And I said, even basic arithmetic. And it's quite unfortunate that Honorable Habib is inviting me to maybe denigrate my own friend, Jemensa. How do you use Cora Draw for arithmetic?
Chairman with respect, Chairman with respect, I want to remind my respected friend, Dr. Omani Boama, that he is on oath. I can also understand that it is your desire to give a detailed explanation by way of response to questions. But let me be quick to remind you. You have a duty in answering to be mindful of the third party who may suffer certain consequences of your response, which at this material moment may not have an opportunity to defend himself or herself. Suffice to state that in a political statement, one may choose to be very loose. But here, in an attempt to defend a political statement, let's be careful. I know a number of our MPP folks who this morning joined this table to say that Dr. Manibuama is our brother. He's our brother. And they expect a certain posture from their own caucus. If that is to be expected, then something must give.
Honorable Ranking Member, thank you very much. I believe this caution should not go only to the nominee before us. The questioners must also be circumspect in asking the question. So, drawing the questioner's attention to the fact that be careful where you are going off camera, but he didn't take a cue. So, proceed to ask your last question.
Chairman, I take you from what my leader have said, but I don't think my question was out of place. If a nominee have described an institution, that nature, and I want to find out why he described it as such. I don't think I was out of place. You indicated that you are the Director of Elections and IT, and now you are going to occupy a very important office. You'll be the Minister responsible for defense of our country. Do you intend resigning your position as Director of Elections and IT so that you can be impartial in handling the affairs of defense in the country?
Thank you very much, Chairman. No Ghanaian should have any fear about my impartiality. In fact, I can be the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and I will be impartial. That's my nature. Trust me, and my deputies are here with me. Whether I was going to be appointed or not, I took up the job of the Director of Elections of NDC purposefully for the 2024 elections. Immediately after the elections, I told them my job was done. Amongst us, we even discussed and we know who will be proposing to the Functional Executive Committee to take over from me. Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
I'm done, and I'll congratulate you.
Thank you very much. But let me place on record that Article 78 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana is very clear. A minister can appear before a committee of parliament to hold office of profit. So if the party constitution so allow, and that minister has appeared before the committee to hold a political position of profit, there is nothing basically wrong about it. But always we ask, will you resign, will you do this? It doesn't lie in our hands to demand a resignation of the so I'll give the floor to Honorable Jerry Shaibu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Doc, congratulations to the document which the UN, as of July 2019, had indicated that the current reimbursement rate of soldiers deployed to go on missions receive about $1,428 per person. In Nigeria, it's about $600. In Kenya, it's about $756. I've indicated, you weren't listening. In Ghana, it's about $435. First of all, do you know about this and what accounts for the differentials? And if at all, what plans do you have to have this resolved? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Not the entirety of the other countries that you mentioned. What I know is we pay $35 daily, and I think the figure per capita is about 1,400 plus. As I've indicated, peacekeeping to countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India is serious business. They use it to finance their army, and I believe that with defense industries taking shape, some of that can go into it. Be rest assured that we are going to take advantage of the wet lease system. To take advantage of it will be to even do some retrospective study on what we have done with the resources that we have received so far. There are complaints about late releases when troops are supposed to even go on mission. These are all matters that we would have to address. It will be a comprehensive process and program. And I believe with your endorsement, if I become the Minister for Defense, I'll come back to Parliament to brief you details about where we are. Even regarding equipment, as I alluded to, the Ghana Armed Forces can benefit from equipment. Ghana Armed Forces in Ghana can benefit from the equipment that we procure through the wet lease system. Because all you have to do is to use that equipment for about 3 to 5 years. You can bring them back home, procure new ones, and so long as you are taking advantage of economies of scale. Have we gotten to a point where maybe we will have to do some joint procurements? The police procures, army that same. Isn't it possible for us to take advantage of economies of scale? Equipment that both are likely to be using, or if we are to be looking at brands for that brand, if we went to that brand, we can take advantage of economies of scale. And so it's a comprehensive thing that will have to be done. And it's not also just about what is going to the soldiers. If we are able to reduce the amount that we spend on maintenance And it will be a paradox that if you do the maintenance more frequently, you are likely to spend less in the long run than to allow the equipment to get to terrible states before you say that maybe you are going to ensure that maintenance is done. And so, give us the opportunity to serve, and we will look at peace support operations comprehensively and put before Parliament, because it will be an international agreement, new ways that we can take advantage of the PSO program to generate the needed income for our nation, to motivate our troops, and also to equip our country for us to be able to protect our territorial integrity.
Thank you. Any further question?
Yes, Mr. And there is also the likelihood of an emergence of a post-traumatic stress disorder and other related health issues. So there are health concerns here. As a medical practitioner, do you have any plans, ideas as to how to help them not go through all the stress and health challenges? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. When I met the generals and the colonels for the briefing ahead of this vetting, when we got to the health aspects, one of them reminded me of my days with the military. You can be rest assured that we will look at health in the comprehensive way that it must be looked at, the social determinants and everything. And veterans in particular, there are some of them who still are going through a lot. I have two veterans in my home, my dad's side. And I remember growing up when the stories were being told. I remember very well. One of them even was shedding tears when it got to a point how a colleague was just killed during operations. So be rest assured that post-traumatic stress disorder, not just that, even before that, even before they encounter this trauma, there are some of them who may even have all kinds of conditions. Just that mental health in general in the country has not been given the right attention that it deserves. We will work together with the Ministry of Health to ensure that the programs that are being organized, the training, Ministry of Education, more of such eye doctors are trained. It is when you have more in the system that you can also have some for the military. Whilst waiting to train more, we will leverage on the existing practitioners within the mental health space to also assist them. And it's not just about mental health, it's a comprehensive thing, because the social determinants of health just will go beyond what just mere disease and ailments are calling on us to be doing for our troops.
Further question?
That's so, Mr. Chair. Honorable nominees, so how do you intend to deal with the growing threat of cyber attacks? And what steps are you going to take to enhance Ghana's cyber defense, especially in the light of our own situation, that in the very recent times, seeing that what we used to have